So if we have to do a little bit of, I would say, retrospective for what happened there, right? Like Steve Jobs says, you cannot connect, or he said, not says, said, that you cannot connect dots in the future. You can only connect dots in the past, right? So uh, for me, if I have to do a retrospective on the whole thing here, what were the things that did not work, right, or that were not done right? Well, like the program structure, like we discussed, was a reflection of the organizational behavior, which is very siloed structure there, right, at the bank. Um, and because of that, the vendor got blamed in the end, and they lost their coaches. Just by the way, I don't know if I said that before or not, but they had to shelve the entire program. It was shut down, and they had to do a full reboot at a later point. So all that effort that was gone into the program, it was all money down the drain, right? So another lesson that we know for sure didn't that another thing that didn't work was that if you're following a framework, follow it religiously. Don't just kind of like um, do it half-assedly, right? Because if you're customizing the framework to your needs, what ends up happening is that we implicitly bring our habits into the equation, and we contextualize it. We call that as like, oh, that's how our culture is, or that's how we usually do things. But then by doing that, what we're doing is we are bastardizing the framework, and we don't get the true value out of it in that case, right? And then end of the day, when things don't work, we blame the framework or we blame Agile for it, right? Other thing that was I felt was not done right was like there was lack of trust, there was lack of empathy, and there was lack of transparency, and that was from both the sides, right? Not just from the bank, from the vendor side as well, right? So technically, what was happening was that we were waterfalling within an agile framework. So uh, things that did actually change things around, if you look at the positive things that happened, um, what we did was instead of focusing on the frameworks, we went to the foundational principles and values, right? If you connect with the manifesto, well, that actually helps you see things differently, and you understand the fundamentals. And after that point on, if you actually try to customize the frameworks, it actually produces different results, right? Versus launching a framework off the bat. Um, Setting up the right expectations up front, and that was within the organization and outside as well with your customers too, right? Making realistic commitments. Don't commit to things that you cannot deliver. Don't be a yes boss kind of person, right? And that usually is a very common thing to observe when you do, especially the transformations for the sales divisions in the companies. Well, they they're trained, they are genetically made to say yes boss, right? That's their usually the answer that they get to the customers. Understanding the true priorities, right? Not everything can be done in a time frame, so see what can be realistically done, be honest about your capacity, and work on the highest priority items, right? And then building trust and transparency with your customers, not just within but with your customers too. If they know what challenges you are facing internally, more often than not, you'll be surprised that they'll work with you, right? I mean, and I've experienced that personally in my personal life too. I've been a customer and I've been on the other side of the table too. So that was my unique experience there. Now,